Hi, I'm Dave Baker. We're here at Meltdown Comics in Hollywood, California, and today we're going to talk about some comics that I read. So this week we're going to talk about one of my favorite comics right now, Copra, Volume 1. If you don't know, Copra is made by a guy named Michel Fiffe. Super dope. He self-publishes it all himself, so he puts out a monthly book. He writes letters, inks, and publishes this thing by himself in his house. And he has a subscription service on his website, and you can subscribe to the book, and it gets mailed to you. He's put out 28 issues of this book all by himself. And then Bergen Street Press does the trades, and they distribute them through Diamond. So if you're interested in this book, you can find it at your local comic book store in trade paperback format. But the single issues are only self-published by Michel. The book is basically Michel's love letter to the medium of comics, and specifically the genre of superhero comics. It's his version of the Suicide Squad, particularly the John Ostrander stuff from the early 80s. Almost, in the beginning, confrontationally so. Like, the characters are not subtle. They are very, very direct versions or bizarro amalgams of characters. Like, there's a character named Castillo, who is basically Frank Castle, and there's also a character whose costume design is basically Deadshot, except he has 2 eyes. That being said, the book is fucking amazing. Like, you can tell that this dude just loves comics. And so much so that he couldn't help but make his own version. It's basically like a big budget mini comic that you would make when you were a little kid. You know, I'm sure we've all done this. You know, you read Batman or whatever, and you're like, this is what I would do with Batman. He'd have guns and he'd kill people. That's what I did. My first comic was an X-Men comic, and it was about Nightcrawler teleporting dudes' heads off. So this is like the big budget version of that. Like, it's just somebody sitting in their room with colored pencils and ink going like for years at a time and not doing anything else. And it's utter lunacy, and it's amazing. Like, his characterizations are really great. His internal monologues are really great. Specifically, like, the language of comics that he uses, you know, the panel-to-panel transitions, the shapes of panels, when he chooses to break panel borders or when he doesn't. Really, really great. He also has a really high panel count, so it's really dense, and so it kind of feels like an older comic, specifically from the time period that he's kind of referencing metatextually. Really, really dope shit. So if you like comic books, or saw the shitty Suicide Squad movie and were like, I wish that there was good Suicide Squad comics because these Jim Lee comics that DC's putting out right now are not very good, you should go look up Copra. It's really good. So that was Copra. Thanks for checking out the video. Please go look at Michel Fiffe's stuff. I think he's like one of the luminaries in the field right now. I can't wait to see what he does. If you'd like to try and find some of my comics, you can find them at heydavebaker.com or theactionhospital.com. If you'd like to come meet me, I'll be at the Los Angeles Comic-Con or Kamikaze, whatever it's called now, at the LA Convention Center on the 28th, or November 4th, 5th, and 6th, I'll be in Tucson, Arizona for Tucson Comic-Con, so please stop by either of those, and we can chat about comics and all kinds of goodness.